And we want to welcome you to the Trend Talk. I'm Belle Hernandez.
And I'm Maravina Jaimes. Today, we talk to two talents who have steadily worked on putting themselves on the map.
First up, Emmy Award-winning host, actress, and innovative clothing designer, Fernanda Kelly.
Then we chat with actor-producer JAIME AYMERICH, president at Create for You's Entertainment and executive producer of Julian the Phantoms on Netflix.
Don't go away. We'll be right back with actress, designer Fernanda Kelly from NITAC. Bienvenida, Fernanda.
Hi, I'm so happy to be here.
And we are so happy to have you. Of course, you're an Emmy Award-winning host and you are a designer, and that is the part we want to talk to you about today. So tell us, first of all, you have this wonderful line, NITAC. Tell us what it stands for, NYTAQ.
There you go. Thank you. Yes, it's called NITAC, not your typical average queen. That's what it means. And basically, it's we are all, as women, we're all queens. We are not typical. We're not average. And I really like the idea of embracing that, that we do not have to be like anybody else. We could just be ourselves and feel queens and feel beautiful.
Well, one of my favorite T-shirts that you have, of course, has the wonderful saying "con ovarios," and it's important to start out your day knowing that you're really strong. How did this idea come about? And it took off. So tell us about your T-shirt line.
Maravina, yes, this was the one T-shirt that really put us on the map, I guess, as a brand. And it started because I was thinking, what do I want to say with NITAC? I really want to put my heart and my soul and my life, my trajectory, what I've gone through. I want to open my heart to women. So what can I share? And really my story is of struggle, of coming from zero and building from there. And so it takes thick skin. It takes for us to be strong and resilient. And so I thought, what does everybody ask me? And the question really is, in my environment, my family, friends, is how do you not give up? How do you still going? How do you keep going? And my answer was, because it takes thick skin. It takes, it takes huevos. And then I was thinking, I was like, well, I don't have huevos. I have ovarios. And I was like, oh my gosh, I do everything con ovarios. And that was just the T-shirt. It was just so natural to me. And as a woman, I'm so inclined to women. I really have a special love for women and children. And it was just so natural to me to put it on a T-shirt.
You talk about, the struggle and, what you've been through. I know that you had a very successful on-camera job at Univision. And then you had to pivot. Is that the struggle? Or are you talking about, other struggles, family struggles? But either way, tell us a little bit about the struggles.
Yes, Belle. I've been in the entertainment industry for about 20 years already. And I moved to LA to be an actress. And, I studied acting at Stella Adler. And so since day one, it's been very difficult because I don't come from money. So my parents couldn't pay for my acting school, which back then was a 2-year, conservatory for $16,000. And I would drive up and down from San Diego to LA because I didn't have a house here. And it was just every block, every, step I've taken has cost me so much, from tears to money to having to, I've sold. I've been a vendor on the street. And a lot of people don't know that. I've been a food vendor. I would sell tamales and soups to pay for my tuition. I've slept in my car. I've been in unemployment. I've lost jobs. I've had to deal with, the Me Too in the Latino market. It's just so many adversities that I've gone through as a creative in order to get what I want, and always staying true to my values as a person, as a Latina, as a Mexicana. And so it's been many, 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 many struggles. And it's part of my story. It's who I am.
That's so interesting because we see you, many people see you. You have a lot of followers on Instagram. How many followers do you have now?
I maybe 70,000. I'm not sure.
But you have a lot of people who follow you and look up to you and want to be and do the things that you do. And they don't know, they just automatically think, oh, she's always been this wonderful and she's always, had luck, or she's always, they do, like I've known you for like what, about 3-4 years now, and I never knew that part. I just thought you came from San Diego, you went to college. You know how we assume things. She went to college and then she, blah blah blah, and I never knew that. That is definitely, an amazing trajectory that we're so proud, and we're so proud of your clothing. I was just telling Maravina and Karina, our producer, that your clothing is so ahead of its time. It's a trend. Remember when we did Latina Fest and you had on that pleated skirt that looked fabulous on you? Yeah. I had never really seen that. And all of a sudden, all of these, a year later, you see all of this on people. So tell us, how do you pick your clothing? Do you make it? Do you buy it made? How is that process of putting all your fashions out there?
Hi, Belle. My goodness, thank you so much for all this love. I do find myself usually, hence the name, not your typical average queen. I'm an Aquarius. I'm very creative. The way I see life is in colors and in art. So I always think, how can I put that into my clothing? Even though I love black and white, and that's why the logo is black and white, I always think, how can I break the mold? How can I take it to the next step? Like if I want a white t-shirt, what can I have? What materials, what fabrics? And so I'm always really just creating from my creative side. I know it sounds redundant, but I'm as an actor, as a stage, theater actors, I do see everything as a set. So whenever I design something, it's for the women when they wear it to glow, to shine as an artist. When they wear it, they feel creative. They feel that power, that connection to art. And so to me, I just feel art is my answer.
One of the things I definitely want to mention is, you really focus, you are a visual artist, but you also focus on the beauties of the Latino culture. I mean, the fabrics and repurposing the fabrics. I love, for example, your new line of t-shirts, still white t-shirts, but you actually have embroidered sleeves, or as Belle was mentioning, the beautiful traditional skirts, but cut in a different way with a t-shirt. So you're kind of mixing it all up, and it's almost like you're wrapping us with our beautiful culture and the pride of the beautiful textiles that we're so familiar with. And some of us may say, oh, that's kind of a throwback, but what you're doing is as I said, you're wrapping us in our culture, and it's really beautiful work. I love your stuff.
Thank you.
But the other really important project that you're doing that is so beautiful is your the medical gown project. And that deals directly with the pandemic and the need for medical professionals to have masks and everything else. Can you tell us about that project? Tell us about how you started it, and of course we know why, and how it's grown.
Yes, so the medical gown project started because I was making face masks for Nita, at the beginning of the pandemic. And then one of my followers asked me if I could help one of her medical doctors, a doctor, a friend of hers, with medical gowns and PPE gear. That's what she said. And I said, yes. But then I had to really look up what PPE gear was. I had no idea. And I mean, that was at the beginning of that pandemic. And now we've made over 1,200 medical gowns for doctors, nurses, COVID patients. And really, that was my prayer at the beginning of the pandemic. How can I be of service during such difficult times? To me, it's what makes me happy, to be able to help. And so this was my prayer, like my answer to my prayer. And now it's like I'm working with the LA Times. I'm working with Altamed. We're creating so many gowns for so many clinics that are in need that it's just beyond, it went beyond myself. We're providing jobs. It's really a beautiful thing.
Well, that's how you started. You actually started to crowdfund. I mean, initially, were you actually trying to do this by yourself? I mean, it was such a huge task. Eventually, you went into crowdfunding, right?
Yes, so I just started it by myself, really. And I called some people, the people that helped me sew and so forth. And then I thought, this is bigger than who I am. This is bigger than what I'm making it. So I did reach out to several, to the LA Times, and I said, I have this project. I think it can go bigger so that I can help more people, but I'm going to need funds. And so they said, we're going to support you.
Fernanda Kelly y Verónica Alvarado, que han dado mucho de su tiempo. They've been making gowns. They actually sew them, and then they give them away free to the community, the doctors and the nurses and the first responders in the hospitals that need these gowns. And now more than ever, we need them because of the unbelievable surge in this virus. What Fernanda and Veronica are asking for is nothing more than for us to help them. And how do we help them? If you haven't been able to help the community at all, or you feel like you want to help the community, just look, you'll find out how to donate funds. And Altamed and the LA Times, they're helping her. This is all about cooperation and collaboration between all of us. So estamos aquí para tratar de entender todo cómo podemos ayudar. So van a poder entender cómo pueden dar $50. Si dan $50, $50, you get $50. We can get the material and make the gowns and pass them out for free, so that the hospitals and the doctors and the nurses and everybody that's working inside trying to help us stay alive. Because when you're sick, you'll realize how important those gowns are when you see them on people, and that the only way they can walk in to help you is with those gowns.
Entonces te quiero agradecer en cámara por darnos tu voz, por darnos tu hermandad, and we're just forever grateful. Really, thank you. You are the example of what you're asking everyone to do. So thank you so much.
No, el gusto, yo quiero darte a ti. Yo quiero llorar contigo diciéndote gracias de parte de todos nosotros, del apoyo que están dando. Te digo, tú tienes detrás de ti lo que estás haciendo, ¿no? ¿Esos son los gowns? Enséñamelo. Con la gente que puede verlo.
Esta es la bata original. Esta bata fue la que se hizo al principio sin saber en realidad qué es lo que se necesitaba para los doctores. Es una tela un poco más gruesa que cubre el frío, pero era un poco difícil de quitar rápido. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity, for hanging on to us in both languages. The Medical Gown Project has really begun from the mission and the heart to help. And we will continue to do that with your support. So thank you for your trust. Thank you for opening, your home to us, for being connected to this Facebook Live. And we just can't wait to donate these medical gowns to the first responders, the COVID patients, the nurses, the doctors, and everyone who needs it the most, which is, unfortunately, there's still a scarcity for PPE gear, and we are here to help solve that problem. So thank you for trusting the Medical Gown Project. Thank you to the LA Times en Español. Thank you to Altamed. Thank you.
Thanks to the people too. Again, it's the people that have believed in this mission. So we can't do anything alone. That's
right. Right. And people say somebody said it was when I help people is when Danny Trejo, as a matter of fact, he was here on the show, and we were asking him questions, and he said, I find that when I help people, I receive a lot. And that's what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's no, even when I'm in pain, or when I'm sad, or when I'm down, depressed, I know that if I help someone else with their problems, my problems just go away. They really do. I mean, I learned that with my Buddhist practice. That's what I do as a leader in the organization, as a woman. I help women, and we have these conversations, and then I just feel better. I don't know how, why, it just happens.
What are your next projects? Because I know that you were recently up for a big competition, and I love that you post your feelings on your Instagram, because we really get a sense of who you are. But you're right now, you were getting ready to do a play right when the pandemic hit. So is that play coming back?
it has to come back. I mean, it's Frida. It's been going on for 27 years. This year was going to be, in LA, and I was going to be the one. But we definitely are working to bring either a monologue as Frida for, on Zoom, or the play eventually. But yes, I was up for a really, big, important competition. I didn't get in, but that's, Belle, this is the way acting goes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's a role out there for me, and I'm just preparing as much as I can for it to come.
Well, it seems that this role of definitely helping our essential workers in the way that you have is a unique role. And I mean, it's so amazing that, pieces of fabric are actually keeping us safe, something to think about. So I think you're on the right track, and thank you so much for all the work you're doing, Fernanda.
Thank you, Maravina and Belle. It's really, I love you guys coming back with another season, and I love you guys. I love the support you give women, and just thank you for having me, and anything I can do to support you as well. I'm here.
Well, tell everyone where they can follow you.
Yes, so you can follow the store at Shop Nitak on Instagram or on our website, nitak.com. And you can follow me at Fernanda Kelly with 3 Ys.
Okay, wonderful to have you and speak to you again, and tell people about all the wonderful things you're doing. Stay in touch, everyone. Please follow Fernanda and look at her fashions. They're fabulous. And we want to say stay tuned, because we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Our next guest has literally done it all in 2 languages and 2 countries. He's acted in telenovelas, he's worked on series like Weeds and Workaholics, and he's a voiceover actor as well on BoJack Horseman. He's wearing a different hat nowadays as president of Nancy Cartwright's new production company, Create For You Entertainment. Please welcome JAIME Aymerich.
Hi guys. Very nice to be here with you.
Very, very wonderful to see you, Jaime. Do you live in LA, or are you back east? Because I know you were back east doing a show.
I was shooting a novela for Telemundo, so I was living in Miami for a whole year. I was doing Betty in New York. It was fun to be in Miami. I love Miami, and but I'm living in Los Angeles right now, so I'm here in LA.
Well, congratulations on all the wonderful things you're doing. And it's highly doubted, but for anyone who doesn't know, tell us who Nancy Cartwright is and about Create For You Entertainment.
Well, basically, Nancy Cartwright is a wonderful artist. She's a great human being. She does the voice for Bart Simpson, and she has done that voice for more than 30 years. And she's extremely talented, and she does a lot of voices for other shows, but we all know Bart. And I partnered with her for Create For You, and Create For You is a company that it's 4 people. It's me, my wife, Monica Gil Rodriguez. She is a Latina that is the CEO of the company, and she is actually a producer that is producing a movie right now in Spain called Borrego. And Monica is been producing movies, and I'm very, very honored to be part of Create For You with Nancy and Monica and my wife.
So besides working with Create For You Entertainment, you have had your own production company. And as a matter of fact, you have a fantastic project called Julian the Phantoms that you actually took to Netflix with showrunner Kenny Ortega. Tell us about that.
Well, I'm an executive producer of Julian the Phantoms. The agent of Kenny Ortega asked my previous company to bring a format to Kenny, and we found something in Brazil. And that was an amazing format, an amazing story that we brought to Kenny, and we brought it to some writers, and we took it to Netflix. And the show is amazing, and I'm an executive producer of the show. And I'm very, very happy about the success of Julian the Phantoms. And of course, we are like now with my new company, Create For You, we're looking for formats, we're looking for stories to tell, we're looking for amazing things that we can tell the audience of the world through the Hollywood window.
Well, I just have one more question for you about Julian the Phantoms. Where did you find incredibly talented Madison Reyes?
Well, Madison is a beautiful girl. They did the proper casting, and Kenny Ortega is obviously a guy that has done amazing with High School Musical, with The Descendants. He's an amazing artist that is full of life. So he has a great eye for talent. So there you go.
I wanted to, that's a little bit about your producing life, but I wanted to go back a little bit about your acting career. You've been in several films and TV shows. And recently, like you said, you were filming Betty in New York. Can you tell us about that project, your character, and where we can see it streaming now?
Well, the show in the United States is in Peacock, which is the streaming service of NBC. And it's great because we're having great reviews on Betty New York. It's Fernando Gaitan was the original writer of the show, and the show has been done 24 different times in 24 different countries. We did a version, the Telemundo version, called Betty and New York, but it's the story of Betty La Fea, or Ugly Betty. Salma did Ugly Betty in Los Angeles. They have done many versions, but in the version that we did with Telemundo, I played the role of Charlie, and Charlie is the guy who is in love of the woman of his compadre. so obviously it's like a prohibited love because he can't, because it's his compadre, right? But unfortunately, el compadre, he bullies his wife a lot. So he goes with another model and he starts having an affair with another person. And he comes and tells me like, hey, I just love young women. So I don't want my old wife. And I'm like, what are you saying? What are you doing? No, blah, blah, blah. So I always support my comadre, and I'm against his love affair with this model. And we have together this fumigation company in New York. And then they have kids. So then I start helping them with the money of the tuition of the kids, of the football, soccer, and everything. So I become really attached with La Comadre. And then one of those days that we have alcohol, then
something happens.
Well, it sounds like a fun show. It's on Peacock, NBC's Peacock. Okay, we'll check it out.
Yeah, it's been having a lot of success in the world. People write me from India that they love the show, that people write me from Latin America. It was a big success in Brazil, in Guatemala, in El Salvador, in Mexico. So it's in Spain. It's an amazing show, and the lead actress, Elifer Torres, she plays an amazing Betty. And I'm pretty sure you guys will love it. It's a show that I did with my heart. The role of Charlie, I loved it. I loved working at Telemundo, at NBC News Studios in El Doral in Miami. I think Marco Santana is doing amazing with Miguel Baroni and with all the producers and all the people that worked in that series, because that series was the #1 novela that we did in those new studios. So now they are doing more for Latinos in the new studios of NBC Telemundo in Miami.
So
That's
you're
great news.
originally from Mexico City, is that correct?
I am from Mexico City, yeah.
And when did you start, coming over to the States to work and do that major crossover? Because I think you've done it.
Well, I was in Mexico all my life, and I was 22 years old. And 96, I was invited to do a casting at Televisa for a telenovela that was going to air in Fox. And it was like this idea of crossing over the telenovelas to the Fox audience. So then I got casted as the role of Daniel in Acapulco Bay. And I was suffering living in the beautiful place of Acapulco for 8 months. And then the show aired here in the United States. And then that I was always like with this little feeling of like, oh, I want to go to Hollywood. I want to go to Hollywood. I want to make movies with Antonio Banderas and Meryl Streep and Gary Oldman, and I want to be with them and blah, blah, blah. So then I came in 97, And then I stayed since then. And then I've been helping other people with my companies and talent and writers and directors. And now I'm crossing over the stories from Argentina, Brazil, Spain, Chile, all over the place. We have amazing partnerships right now at Create for You. We partner with the creator of the 70s show. We have stories from all over the world that we're cooking right now with amazing celebrities, with amazing, I cannot say much about it because it's non-disclosure yet, but what I can tell you is that we're cooking amazing things.
Thank you for joining us, Jaime. Continued success. So don't go away. We'll be right back with our Trend Talk Trendsetter shout out.
Today's Trend Talk Trendsetter shout out goes to La Plaza de Cultura y Arte in downtown Los Angeles in the El Pueblo Historic District of Los Angeles. At La Plaza, you can learn all about the important part Latinos have played in past and present in creating and enriching Los Angeles through their online classes and art exhibits and interviews with influential creatives, visionaries, and artists. Visit lapca.org for more information.
We want to thank you for joining us at the Trend Talk, and we want to also remind you to go on Instagram and follow us at the Trend Talk Show. And remember, if it's trending, we're
talking.